Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Glad that we could be together. Shabbat Shalom, Rachel. How are you?
Shabbat Shalom. I'm doing great. Thanks. It's good to be here.
Wonderful. Wherever here is, with you in Chicago and me in the synagogue and our friends all over Arizona and maybe some further afield. We are not in the same place, but we are all here together. And I think it's so necessary that we are. I've heard from several of you this past week how much you really treasure this time together, and those notes mean a lot to us, let me tell you. There is so much angst and chaos and frustration and disappointment and fear and pain out in the world now. I think it is all the more important that we observe Shabbat, that we make a little garden for ourselves, a time and a space to sit and rest and renew ourselves, to reconnect with the wellspring of our souls, to grant ourselves the opportunity to find some peace. And I hope that you and that all of us find some peace in this time together this evening. So thanks for being with us. We are going to begin with the song Dodi Li, about my beloved coming across the fields to be with me. This is a song we often sing at Kabbalat Shabbat. It is part of the Kabbalat Shabbat liturgy. And the tune that will be so familiar to you that Rachel will be singing now was composed by cantor Stephen Scher. And it is with sadness that I announced that he passed away this last week. So we always bring his energy and his spirit into our presence when we sing his rendition of Dodi Li, but all the more so this week as we say goodbye to a fine member of the Reform Jewish community and composer of this beautiful piece of music, Dodi Li.
Dodi li ani lo haroeh bashoshanim. Dodi li mizot olah min hamidbar. Mizot olah min hamidbar. Dodi li ani lo haroeh bashoshanim. Dodi li mekuteret moru levona, moru levona. Dodi li, Dodi li ani lo haroeh bashoshanim. Dodi li.
Zichrono livracha. We offer thanks, O God, for this Shabbat, which unites us in faith and hope. For Shabbat holiness, which inspires sacred living. For Shabbat memories glowing even in darkness. For Shabbat peace born of friendship and love, we offer thanks and blessings, O God. Let's light candles. If you don't have yours handy, you can pause the recording and go get them. Let's light together. And as we make 3 circles, with each push away, we push out stress and worry and concern. And with each circle inward, we bring in peace and love and calm.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu להדליק ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. And we continue now with Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Borechem leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchoni leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Yitkadal ve'yitkadash shemei Rabbi, ve'almad divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'b'yom echon u'v'chayedecho beit Yisrael. Bagala u'vizman kariv v'himeru amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevorach le'olam u'lamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitbar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudasha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran me'alma v'himeru amen.
Let's rise, please, as we're able to for the Baruch Hu.
Yai la lai 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 lai. Yai la lai 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 lai. Yai la lai 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 lai. Yai la lai 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 lai. Yai la lai 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 lai. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. המבורך לעולם ועד.
Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'ma'ariv haravim. And now Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
Let's have a seat and continue together with Ve'ahavta.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושוכבך ובקומך, וכשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is also a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. Let's continue together with Hashkivenu.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim.
We'll Rise for the Amidah, giving ourselves the space of 10 deep breaths. If you wish to pray the text of the Amidah, you are welcome to pause the recording and enter into the liturgy, or if you want more time to settle into yourself to offer your own prayer, please do so. And when you hear the music, you can start bringing your thoughts, your prayers, yourselves back to our shared prayer space. Let's rise if we're able to for Amidah.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agid tehilatecha. Adonai, open my lips that my mouth may declare your praise.
Yismechu malchutecha shomrei Shabbat v'korei oneg המקדשי שבי, כולם יספעו ויתענגו, מטובך. והשביעי רצית בו וקידשתו, חמדת ימים אותו קראת, זכר למעשה בראשית, אותו קראת, זכר למעשה בראשית. I heard from quite a few people this week that they are dealing with a lot of anxiety and depression and fear. So as we enter into our space for Misha Beirach, for asking God to heal all of us who are ailing and all that ails us, I want to begin with this special prayer. Too often, I think, we assume that Misha Beirach deals with our physical body, but that is not the case. It deals with our physical body as well as our mental health and emotional well-being. And right now, we are all under great stress. some more than others, some chronic, some not. And so let's hold one another and one another's feelings and mental well-being in our hearts with these words. May the one who blessed our ancestors bless me with strength and healing as I struggle with emotional distress and mental suffering. May I walk in the footsteps of Jacob, King Saul, Miriam, Hannah, and Naomi, who lived with dark moods, hopelessness, isolation, and terror, but survived and led our people. Just as our father Jacob spent the night wrestling with an angel and prevailed, may I be granted the endurance to wrestle with pain and prevail, night upon night. Grant me the faith to know that though like Jacob, I may be wounded, shaped, and renamed by this struggle, still I will live on to continue an ever unfolding, unpredictable path towards healing. May I not be alone on this path, but accompanied by family in all its forms, friends, caregivers, ancestors, and the divine presence. Surround me with loving kindness, grace, and companionship, and spread over me a Shabbat Shalom, a shelter of peace and wholeness. This evening, as we recite our Mishaberach, we are praying for the healing of Shatzi Abramson, Nanette Barkas, Rita Beckman, Dina Bedak, Peter Bregman, Denise Brown, Antoinetta Caputo, Denise Chandler, Dawn Cole, Jorge Contreras, Jessica Ellsworth, Liz Fairman, Susan Fiore, Dee Force, David Foreman, Ricky Lynn Gans, Ed Geffner, Michael Glass, Corey Gustafson, Emily Harris, Carl Herman, David Hollander, Lee Hawkins, Tirza Haywood, Beverly Jones, Meredith Jones, Janice Calden, Marilyn Calden, Helen Kaplan, Bella Katzen, Stephen Katzen, Jeffrey Keene, Stephen Loeb, Daryl Lerner, Nelson Lerner, Nancy Levy, Jack Lichtman, Andrew Marks, Aileen Matlow, Jerry Mavernack, Brittany Maxwell, Karen McKinney, Stephen Messer, Fiona Michael, Jennifer Mills, Audrey Mascali, Jessica Novick, Wendy Nudell, Leticia Pangunpalan, Ronald Peck, Roberto Pereira, Roz Perlman, Howard Ragwin, Nancy Salson, Lori Sellis, Jeffrey Craig Scheidel, Leslie Shahar, Devin and the Sharma family, Roger Sosha, Gerald Traxler, Linda Traxler, Judy White Hinkle, and Lucy Wright. And who else? For whom else are we praying? Please say their names.
Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishelera imotenu mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Amen. The book of Numbers, our reading of the book of Numbers, draws to a close this week with a double portion of Matot Ma'aseh. And in it, in addition to the other descriptions and actions, we get a list, a recap of the 42 places where the Israelites have stopped, have stationed themselves as they've traveled through the wilderness. So there is a bit of a review, and it makes for some pretty dry reading, frankly. But the Hasidic commentator Levi Yitzchak, in his work Kedushat Levi, draws our attention to the phrase Motzaehem u'Maasehem, their departures and their journeys. And it's odd because we think, why should they depart then journey? Usually we journey and then we depart. He, from a place. He brings our attention to that word, Motzaehem, and you might be able to hear in it the root for exit, Yitziat Mitzrayim, or from Dayenu, Ilu Hotzi Hotzianu mi Mitzrayim, the departures there. And what Levi Yitzchak says is that each of the places where the Israelites encamped was suffering from something, some sort of emotional stress or wound or historical difficulty. And almost like a Superfund cleanup, the Hebrews arrived and absorbed whatever pain was in that place. They stayed there long enough to leave it clean, and then they departed and went on their way. And as they exited, the illness, the sadness of that place departed with them. Well, of course, now it feels like the whole wide world is suffering with sadness and illness and angst and heartbreak. I think it's no mistake that we are seeing videos of people acting out with such anger, especially at stores when they're not allowed to do this or that minor thing. And we can only imagine what's happening in homes all around the world as people's anger and upset bubbles up and they lash out at the people around them. Well, I hope that we can be like our ancestors, that we can be like the Hebrews who were traveling to a place of despair and anger and sadness, and that we can bring a sense of centeredness and peace and maybe even joy, and that we can absorb some of the hurt that's going on, and we can instead share our calm and share our love with one another and help tip the balance a little bit from all the suffering and bring in a little bit more joy. We might not be able to turn things around for those people who are hurting so much that they need to lash out, but we can, I think, I know, be a force for good in the public square. Because that's really, really, really needed. Thank you. And now let's offer Kaddish Yatom, knowing that there are families in our community who are hurting because of the recent deaths of loved ones. I'm thinking especially of Lynn Harris, her sister, Annie Stern, of Ruth Kolker and Harris Deitch, all of whom passed away in recent weeks. This week we are observing the yahrzeit of loved ones Esther Andes, Louis Feldman, Florence Flegenheimer, Yale Gieler, Bertha Ginsburg, Albert Goldberg, Harold Goldstein, Jean Kahn, Elsie Lerman, Ira Menezes, Phyllis Messing, Tony Natali, Selma Pinkwasser, Evelyn Reese, Sam Reiter, Everett Rosen, Sally Soliterman, Isidore Simon, and Sam Zeitlin. Who else are you remembering on this Shabbat? Please rise if it's your practice as we continue with Kaddish Yatom. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbi, ve'alma divrach cherutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon, uv'chayedecho beit Yisrael, v'agala uvizman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevorach le'olam ulmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei the kudsha v'yichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Ose shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. Let us conclude our service with Ose Shalom, this tune that we and I think the whole rest of the world, Jewish world, has fallen in love with from the Israeli Prayer Center and music group Nava Tehillah.
Ose shalom bimroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, amen. Ose shalom bimroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, amen.
Oh no, Rachel has frozen on me. I don't know if she is still playing or you can still hear her, but I'm going to chime in and hope that you can hear me. I want to say thank you, Rachel, for your gift of music, and thank everyone for being with us. It's appropriate as we conclude a book of Torah to say, Chazak, Chazak, V'nit Chazek. From strength to strength, let us be strengthened. It might not feel like we are strengthened now, but maybe this is an opportunity to pause and think through the pieces of strength, the moments, the bits of strength we do have in our lives, because there's a lot of strength. There's a lot of good going on for us now, and we hope it will just increase in the weeks and months ahead. Shabbat Shalom.